What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, back with all the news after Week 17 of our Columbus Aviators franchise, where the Aviators picked up another win to move to 12-4. However, it was not good enough to get that first round bye. We are going to be in the wild card against the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's go ahead and do our season recap here today, as well as adjust the sliders a little bit. Everybody seems to be complaining about the sliders, and I don't know what all to say about it, because if you guys do watch these news videos, which clearly I feel like the people who are complaining have not been, I've been trying to adjust them. I've been trying to change things, and I don't know, it just isn't good enough for some people, I suppose, but we're going to continue to make adjustments. I do agree the opponents are not running the ball all that well against us. I've adjusted this slider zillions of times, I feel like, and I can't seem to find a good medium for it. I don't know. We'll move it up 12 more here. 12 more. We'll see if that makes some kind of difference. I hope it does. Pass defense reaction time. I think we need to... Wait, is it raised over here? All right, let's just go ahead and raise it up then. I thought it would go the opposite way, but apparently not. Let's raise this. Pass coverage, we'll raise that up. Tackling, raise it up. Interceptions I do want to raise on both sides of things. I feel like there's quite a few dropped interceptions frequently. Hopefully that'll make things more difficult, because I do agree I'd like things to be more challenging than they have been. You know, both teams are putting up way too many points right now, and I would like that to change. I'd like to have a little more realistic stats, and I've been saying that throughout. It's just a process, so I think if people are going to continue to say the same thing over and over at this point, I don't know what else to do at that point. You know what I mean? Field goal accuracy. Did I not adjust this already? And I know people say that you have to update it in the home and then upload it here. I understand all that, but I could have sworn. Anyway, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do that too. Anyway, moving forward, let's get through our season recap here. We got our stats to look at, and we got our awards to look at. Let's start off with the awards. MVP award, Marcus Mariota was in the hunt. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing first. Well, yeah, let's look at the Week 17 weekly award, sure. Marcus Mariota, last we looked, was number 2 on the list. We're going to have to find out if he overtook that first seed. Laurinaitis with 3 interceptions, 5 passing touchdowns for Bridgewater, 121 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Le'Veon Bell, and Shazier with an interception to go with 10 tackles. Here we go, yearly awards. Did Mariota take over that number 1 spot to win MVP? He did not. Aaron Rodgers is going to win MVP. Marcus Mariota coming in at number 2. Joe Flacco 3. Alex Smith 4. Teddy Bridgewater at 5. Drew Brees 6. Matt Ryan 7. Ryan Tannehill 8. Phillip Rivers 9. And DeMarco Murray 10. The Eagles lost to go to 15-1. Did they lose in Week 16? We're going to have to go look at that. Let's look at the, Let's look at the Coach of the Year awards first. Did they lose in Week 16? I'm actually incredibly curious about this now. That would be pretty crazy if that's how it went down. Back out of here, because I forgot to look at what they were last week, I think. But I know that they were close. All right, team schedule. I know that they were really close. Like, I think they were 14-0 at one point. So let's go ahead and find this out. Eagles, where you be? All right, regular season. And... okay, no, it wasn't. I'm sorry. They lost in Week 14 to the Packers by 1 point. They came insanely close to a perfect season, despite having to play 4 out of their last 5 games on the road. This Eagles team is dominating right now, and I think it's safe to say they are probably the Super Bowl favorites, especially since their only loss came to another great team led by the Super Bowl MVP, Aaron Rodgers, and even then, they only lost by 1 point. This is definitely a team to fear. Here we go, yearly awards. We're going to go through this kind of quickly, guys. If y'all want to see anything, just go ahead and pause the video. But I will kind of scroll down kind of quickly throughout this. Let's see what we got. And interesting enough, he was on the list earlier, but I no longer see Robert Griffin III here for the Eagles. I wonder if they had to play with 2 quarterbacks throughout the season. It might be interesting to check their stats as well. You know, if they're going 15-1, you'd kind of expect to see one of their quarterbacks on that list. Connor Barwin here pretty high up for their defense. Brandon Spikes on the Buccaneers now. He had a solid season for them. Max Austin, 85 overall quarterback for the Bears. Austin Sam, 80 overall for the Rams. Deshaun Young, 81 overall for the Vikings. EJ Lucas, 78 overall for the Packers. Trey Falk, 69 giggity for the Packers as well. Cooper Griffin, 82 overall for the Giants. Darren Barnes, 68 overall for the Redskins. Russell Jackson, 78 overall for the Panthers. Centennial Wood, 76 overall for the Bears. And Jeremiah Hunter, 66 overall for the Cowboys. Defensive Rookie of the Year, 81 overall, Eric Sullivan for the Packers. And Darrell Beck, the guy that we tried heavily, we really wanted to get Darrell Beck. Let's be honest. We tried so hard to get this guy, and he just did not fall to our pick. 82 overall for the Vikings. Avion Atkins, 80 overall for the Cowboys. Rashard Collins, 81 overall for the Saints. Levon Boyett, 73 overall for the Cardinals. Derek Griffin, 80 overall for the Lions. Jamal Avery, 84 overall for the Lions. A few good Lions players on this list. Antoine Felton, 81 overall for the Seahawks. Cade Farmer, 68 for the Falcons. And Delancey Hunter, another Lion player, 67 overall. Best quarterback, Aaron Rodgers on this list. And let's go down the list. And Robert Griffin III, despite a 15-1 record, only falls to number 8 in the NFC alone for best quarterback. Really interesting how all that played out. DeMarco Murray clearly having a monster season. Darren Sproles also on the list here, so 2 running backs in the top 10 there. Let's see if there's an Eagles receiver. And if not, it must just be based on their running game and defense. There's not an Eagles receiver, so I'm assuming they maybe did only have 1 quarterback making the plays. Obviously, you would expect to see a lot of Eagles on this list. Only 2, though. Only 2, despite having the best running back. Going down the list, Fletcher Cox. Again, probably going to see a lot of Eagles players on defense as well, including Connor Barwin as the best linebacker, with Brandon Graham there as well. Defensive back, let's see if there's anybody on this list. Prince Amukamara on the list. You see 2 Eagles, including Tremaine Brock on that list. Interesting to see that. Blair Walsh is now kicking for the Eagles as well. Let's go ahead and go to the AFC now. Justin Forsett winning Offensive Player of the Year. Marcus Mariota coming in at number 5 for the Columbus Aviators. Matt Forte on his new team, the Indianapolis Colts there. Defensive Player of the Year, Preston Brown going to take the victory there. Paul Posluszny, who we saw just had a really good game as well. Definitely a good player. No Aviators on this list, though. Offensive Rookie of the Year. We knew it was going to happen, but here it is. Curtis Harden, 81 overall for the Aviators. Parker Hester, who we saw have a 3-touchdown game against us, 78 overall for the Indianapolis Colts. Kyron Cosby, 78 for the Bengals. James Gomez, 82 for the Jets. Osage Gordon, 79 for the Bills. LeVar Patrick, 74 for the Raiders. Kerry Patrick, the Patrick brothers from another mother, 73 overall as that backup quarterback for the Columbus Aviators. Jeffrey Espinoza, 67 overall for the Raiders. Jabril Albury, 75 overall for the Browns, and Dre Parker, 80 overall for the Dolphins. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Stanley Cunningham, 86 overall for the Bengals. He definitely is a guy that we are going to have to keep an eye on. Tyler McElroy coming in at number 2, 78 overall for the Aviators. Chris Haynes, 85 overall for the Chargers. Ivory McKay, 85 overall for the Dolphins. Devin Harrington, 83 overall for the Dolphins. Didn't the Dolphins have a guy pretty high up on this list too? Not high up, but he is 80 overall. So the Dolphins clearly had a great draft, and that is a team to be feared in the future potentially. Darren Scott, or Darren Scott. Probably more Darren Scott. I know how to speak words. Don't judge me. 83 overall for the Steelers. Malik Maxwell, 80 overall for the Patriots. Tyrone Stevens on this list at number 8. 78 overall for the Aviators. Demontre Hightower, 67 overall for the Browns. And Michael Powers, 81 overall for the Texans. Go down this list kind of quickly. Again, Marcus Mariota coming in at number 1 for the Aviators there. Let's see who else is on the list. Any shockers? Well, Kellen Moore kind of shocking, I suppose. Running backs, Matt Forte coming in at number 4 for his new team there. Bishop Sankey on the list at number 8. Wide receiver, Curtis Harden winning Wide Receiver of the Year for the AFC. Again, the guy was a monster. We potentially have one of the best wide receivers of all time to work with right now. And if we can utilize him throughout his career, this guy could go down as one of the greatest ever. And it is going to be fun to watch him grow because the guy just has the ability to blow the top off of defenses. And it's going to be interesting to see how we can work with him with our new slider set. You know, I am trying to make it more difficult, especially for the playoff time. You guys know I don't like to have a cakewalk. I like a challenge. And I agree with others when they say the challenge hasn't been there. I've been trying to adjust things so many times, and I can't seem to find the right mix of things. So hopefully this will add some difficulty to it. And hopefully Curtis Harden can still come to play with the added difficulty. Brian Arakpo going to be at number 10 on this list. Defensive back, we have Parrish Cox coming in at number 2 for the Aviators. He definitely did do a great job of making plays on the ball. Damian Stafford is going to come in at number 7. Now, he is injured. That is a huge blow to this Aviators defense. You can see right here his importance to the team. And it's going to be interesting to see how things play out with him on the bench. You know, we do have Denor Cersei backing him up, and he is a good player for us. You know, he's actually rated a little bit better, but he doesn't have the playmaking abilities that Stafford has shown us, and that is definitely going to be a blow. So another thing that we are going to do here is we are going to release our kicker and see if we can find another one. Again, you know, one issue, people keep saying it's not a glitch, it's not a glitch. Guys, I promise you it's a glitch. I'm not making this up. I know how to kick a field goal. Nobody seems to want to believe me on that. And there's not really a good kicker in free agency, and that worries me. I suppose I can try to go with Lambo, but I don't know. Jeez, why is he so low if he has such the best accuracy there? Let's go ahead and look at our roster, kind of see where our guy grades out there, because that definitely worries me. Whoops. Kicker. Alright. Now, see, he's a rookie kicker. He's 82 overall. It's got to be. You'd think he'd be better. Kick accuracy. 96. See what I'm talking about, guys? 96 kick accuracy. And he shanks like nearly every kick. I don't know. I don't know. Signing somebody is clearly not going to do anything at this point, unfortunately. But let's go ahead. I was actually planning on doing that. Let's go ahead and sign or look at our stats throughout the season. First, we'll look at ours, and then we'll go ahead and look at the league as a whole. 38 touchdown passes for Mariota. Our team as a whole throwing way too many interceptions, though 24 for Mariota. Kerry Patrick added on 7 as well. Patrick throwing 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Our team 5,000 passing yards on the season. We really were doing a good job moving the ball through the air. Curtis Harden, a big reason for that. Rushing the ball, Bishop Sankey, 179 carries, good for 926 yards, 5.2 yards a carry, and 8 touchdowns. McCluster, 743 yards, 5.2. Again, I feel like I need to increase the difficulty. I have a great offensive line, I really do, but the running backs I have are not all that great. They're good players. They're definitely great in certain situations, but should they be averaging 5.2 yards a carry? I don't know if that's the case or not. Anyway, looking at our rushing touchdowns here, going through the list. I love getting Kendall right that touchdown. That was fun. Receiving the ball, 75 catches, nearly 1,000 yards for Delaney Walker. Only 3 touchdowns, though. Whoops. Only 3 touchdowns for him. Curtis Harden, 63 catches, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. Monster player. Bishop Sankey, a great job out of the backfield there. Dorial Green-Beckham had kind of a down year for what we were hoping to see, but he really started to come alive towards the end of the season. We're hoping he can continue that in the playoffs. Kendall Wright, 6 touchdowns from that slot position. Justin Hunter had 4 touchdowns. Wayne Chapman, the rookie, with 2. David Cobb with 5 receiving touchdowns. Sean Sutton with 3. And Chris Owusu with 1 touchdown on 9 catches. Moving forward, blocking. Should we look at this in depth? As you can see, we got some good players there. Marquestin Huff leading the team in tackles. And this assist stat really is skewed when playing the game. I wish Madden would fix that. They seem to give assists just all of the time, and it really just skyrockets their total tackles. But Marquestin Huff, obviously, even then, 86 solo tackles. Part of that's, our poor pass defense, and that's something to kind of keep an eye on. I don't like seeing that. One guy that's very underrated for our team, Tyrone Stevens. As you can see, only 27 tackles, you know, and a lot of that is because teams were struggling to throw the ball against him. He really did not give up a whole lot of catches throughout the season. Brian Arakpo with 15.5 sacks, 12.5 for Derek Morgan, 9.5 for Avery Williamson. Casey with 6, Daquan Jones with 4, Damian Stafford with 3.5, Nada only with 3. I definitely would have expected a little bit more, but I mean, again, doesn't necessarily suit our defense, I suppose. McElroy doing okay there. In terms of interceptions, 7 for Parrish Cox, 4 for Stafford, 4 for Kirkpatrick, 3 for Huff, 2 for Cersei, Tyrone Stevens, and Bleedy Ray Wilson, and 1 for Avery Williamson. Fumbles forced. Didn't force a whole lot of fumbles this year. Tyler McElroy did force 2. John Latulele forcing 1 as well. The recoveries, I didn't get a block. I don't think I got a safety, did I? Nope. Touchdowns, though, we did get 6 on the season. Drake Kirkpatrick with 2. Tyrone Stevens with 2. Parrish Cox with 1. And Damian Stafford with 1. Our kicking unit clearly struggling here. 15 to 28, just not reliable. And that's a big concern going into the playoffs, guys. It really is. Sean Sutton, 26.6 yards per return and a kick return for a touchdown. He also had 14.6 on punts. That is an insane number. He had a touchdown there as well, both in the same game, crazy enough. Let's go ahead and look at the stats throughout the season for the entire league here. And passing yards is going to go to Aaron Rodgers. So the 2 quarterbacks combined for the Aviators actually leading in passing yards, unless they have backups that did good as well. Who knows? That could be the case. Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Alex Smith, Flacco, Mariota. Passing touchdowns, 41 touchdowns to only 11 interceptions for the Packers. That is definitely a team to keep an eye on. Mariota coming in at number 2 with 38 passing touchdowns, obviously throwing quite a lot of interceptions, though. Matt Ryan 3, Bridgewater 4, good season for him. Drew Brees 5. Go down the list a little bit for you guys. Interceptions, and Mariota tied for the league lead in interceptions with Blake Bortles. Definitely need to do a better job of protecting the ball. You know, we cannot make mistakes like that in the playoffs. One big interception could cost us the game, especially, again, with more difficult offensive sliders. We might not be moving the ball down the field quite as well as we were before. DeMarco Murray, 1,600 yards, 5.4 yards a carry, 13 touchdowns for him. Peterson with 8 touchdowns, 5 yards a carry. Le'Veon Bell, 10 touchdowns. Justin Forsett with 18 touchdowns, 5.1 yards a carry for him. Randall, C.J. Anderson, a big free agent signing here for the Redskins. Mark Ingram and LaShawn McCoy on this list. In terms of touchdowns, I saw Melvin Gordon. So 2 Chargers, each with 14 rushing touchdowns. They clearly were doing a great job of scoring through the ground. And I'm pretty sure Phillip Rivers was pretty high on this list as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Yeah, 28 touchdowns. I mean, their offense was putting points up on the board for sure. A.J. Green and James Jones, each with 99 catches here. In terms of yards, Keenan Allen leading the way. A.J. Green, number 2. Jordy Nelson, 3. Calvin Johnson, 4. Emmanuel Sanders, 5. James Jones, 6. And Curtis Harden down here like number 8, something like that. Although I would guess his average per catch, well, it might be a little skewed, but anybody with over 50 catches, he is leading. And Demaryius Thomas with the Cardinals now doing a really good job there as well. Passing touchdown or receiving touchdowns, 14 for Curtis Harden, tied with Calvin Johnson for his rookie season. Definitely a solid player. James Jones at number 3 there with 13. Quite a few players here with 11 and quite a few with 10. It's interesting to see all the new players making impacts with their new teams. Parker Hester, the rookie receiver for the Colts here, going to come in with 10 touchdowns. Definitely another threat. Josh Gordon on the Lions, teaming up with Calvin Johnson there. Defensively, Marquestin Huff tied for the league lead in tackles. And again, that has to be a skewed stat because of all those assisted tackles. In fact, if we look at assisted tackles, our players are the top 3 and 4 out of the top 5. And if you include Derek Morgan, I mean, the assisted tackles glitch is just ridiculous in this game. Sacks, Sheldon Richardson with 20, 16.5 for DeMarcus Lawrence. Brian Arakpo coming in at number 3. J.J. Watt tied with Arakpo. Connor Barwin tied as well. Tamba Ali and Brandon Graham on those lists. Everson Griffin. And then Derek Morgan down here with 12.5. Interceptions, 8 for Brandon Flowers. Tim Jennings and Dominique Rogers-Cromartie tied with Parrish Cox, who is glitched out of this list, as that tends to happen sometimes. Prince Amukamara having a good season. Tremaine Brock having a good season. Going down the list. Show some other players there. Whoops. Fumbles forced. Let's see what we got. 5 fumbles forced for Joe Mays, Wilkerson, and Navarro Bowman. Wow. That is a ton. That's like nearly as much as our entire team did all together. My goodness. Vincent Ray. There you go. Another player. Scrolling down the list. All right. Blocks. Any blocks on the season? And I have never seen a blocked field goal in all Madden mode in like 5 Maddens. I don't know. It just never happens. Safety, Aaron Donald with 2. Richardson with 1. Quinn with 1. And J.J. Watt with 1. Defensive touchdowns, 2 for Kirkpatrick, Laurinaitis, Jimmy Smith, Tim Jennings. We also know our rookie had 2 as well, Tyrone Stevens. Going down this list. Kicking, let's see what we got. Let's just look for the long. The long kick. Who had the longest? And 60 yards by Prater. And if I'm not mistaken, that was actually against us. I could be wrong on that. Mason Johnson, despite all of his troubles, actually going to appear on this list. And again, kicking power must need to be adjusted because nobody is kicking field goals longer than 50 yards, it seems. Andy Lee punting 106 times. One of the best punters in the NFL there. Man, McAfee doing the best job with average. Kick return, 31.7 for Dre Parker. He did only have 9 returns, and 1 was for a touchdown, so maybe that's a little bit skewed. Centennial Woods, a rookie, though, doing a great job. Ace Sanders there out of South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, South Carolina. DeAndre Finley, Torrey Smith on this list with 2. And you see all the other players with 1, including Sean Sutton, a guy that I like quite a lot, and I think he is going to have a big role in our offense moving forward. This year, mostly special teams, but we might look into promoting him as well, as he had that kick or punt return for a touchdown as well. But that is going to be it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and are excited for the playoffs, if you enjoyed this season, guys, please smash that like button. It really does help me out a lot. Again, I do want to make things more difficult. I agree with other people. I've been trying to do that a lot throughout the sliders. If you guys watch these videos, you know that. And the people that really don't have a right to complain the way I see it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this season, let me know by hitting that like button. And I will see you guys in the wild card playoff game as we take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Wait, let's go look at their roster. Let's look at their roster. I forgot to do that. It's going to be a long news video, guys. Week 17 news video always tends to be, though. Here we go. Andy Dalton, only 80 overall. Wow. Not really where I would have expected it to be. TJ Yates out of North Carolina backing him up, and TJ Yates has the ability to win games in certain situations, so that's something to keep an eye on. Jeremy Hillett, running back here, 91 overall. LeGarrette Blount going to be number 2. LeGarrette Blount. They don't have Giovanni Bernard, interesting enough. Ryan Hewitt going to be the fullback here, a wide receiver. AJ Green, Mike Williams, Kyron Cosby, a rookie 78 overall, 6'2", with good catching attributes and his speed 88 overall. Actually, the best speed among those top 3 wide receivers. Missing is Mohamed Sanu, though. Tyler Eifert at tight end, and Brandon Myers going to be there with him. Left tackle, not a good left tackle, really. Left guard is solid, though. Center, it's okay. He did go to North Carolina, so I'm going to say he's great. And Andre Smith going to be a right tackle. Not the greatest of offensive lines. Not the worst we've seen, though. Defensive line, Geno Atkins, obviously a player to look out for, but he is going to be leading that. Nigel Bradham, a great free agent pickup or trade, I guess, maybe, for the Bengals. Great player to add for them. Ray Maluga, a very good middle linebacker. They have Nate Irving there as well. Burfict still at that right outside linebacker spot, a playmaker, somebody to keep an eye out on. Not the greatest of secondaries, though. That's something we might be able to take advantage of. And that continues up through Stanley Cunningham, the 86 overall rookie. Wow, and we did see this guy. I think he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Great zone coverage for a rookie safety for sure. Good tackling. Let's see. Hit power 80. 77 catching. I mean, not the best speed, though. Curtis Harden might be able to exploit that, but overall, definitely a great rookie that they have there. Giggity. Brian Anger is going to be their punter. Kick return, Burley and Hamilton. And Burley and Hamilton, once again, a punt returner. Guys, that will be it for this episode. Thanks again for watching. Hope you liked, and I will see you guys next time. Later.